Howdy all, Mr. Callen here, helping you out with lesson 311, word problems with equations. Pause for a moment, head on back to the assignment. Hit pause, come on back when you're ready. And as always, please let me know if you have any questions, whether through email or better yet, when I see you next in class, if I see you in class. Let's go on with today's assignment. I will solve, you bet, right toward the end of the chapter, word problems. Now listen, we've done equations, expressions, simplifying expressions, solving equations. We've done one-step equations. We've done two-step equations, like 3 plus 4f equals 147. We've done two-step equations with combining like terms. So more of that, only with real-world problems. Only one example for today, folks, but for now, go ahead and hit your name up. Name, date, hour, page 85, number 3 through 14. Press pause. Come on back when you're ready. So one quick example, ladies and gents. Let me give you time. Go ahead and read it on your own and come on back when you're ready. First things first, I'm going to say back the problem before I even mark up the text. And I got a pen. I'm ready to mark this text up. But before I even mark it up, I'm going to read back the problem without using any numbers. What's going on? All right. So DeAndre got some money. He split it up among him and his brothers and sisters, right? So he's only got part of the paycheck left. Then he loses even more because he spends some more. In the end, he's got a bunch of money. How much did he originally have? Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to mark it up. First thing I do is box in the question. How much originally on his paycheck? Now, when I go back, you bet that I'm not just going to circle numbers, but I'm going to circle what they mean. For instance, $8, and then I underline the key math term. He spent $8. In the end, $17. 3 siblings, oh, wait a second, and himself, and split being the key word. So listen, when I go to draw a picture of this, I'm imagining his paycheck. But look, he's splitting it up. Let's see, he's splitting up 3 siblings and DeAndre. That means 4 parts. So I can imagine cutting this paycheck up into 4 pieces. So we don't have a full envelope of money. We don't have a full paycheck. We have part of that P paycheck. I should have put P over to the side, but that's all right. On top of that, he then spent, or shall I say lost, another $8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. In the end, he's got 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the way to 17. All right. Now, how do I go ahead and write this as an equation? Well, look, what did he start with? Started with P bucks. What happens first to that P bucks? He splits it up into 4 parts. Now, I want to be clear about this. Some folks would rather write 1/4 of a paycheck. That is perfectly all right, whatever you prefer. So what does he start with? P dollars. What happens first? He splits it. What happens next? He loses $7. If you take all of that action, in the end, $17. Now, how do we solve this? Well, I'm going to go ahead and guess that you guys know we want to get rid of that $7. Actually, he lost $7 before he spent the. Why did I write 7? That would have been an 8, Mr. Callen. Before he spent that $8, let's add the $8 back in. And in this case, naturally, -8 plus 8 cancel out. But how do we show that, by the way? How do we show that with our drawing? Well, I imagine a 0 pair, and we'll talk more about this as time goes by. But to get rid of +1, or to get rid of -1, we add, right? Because after all, a -1 and a +1 make 0, and a -1 and a +1 make 0, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. But let's not just add 8 to one side. Let's go ahead and add 8. to the other side. Okay. So what does that leave us with? Well, on the left portion, we only have that part of his paycheck. On the right side, we naturally have $25. But here's the deal. I don't just want to know what part of the paycheck is. We want to know what the entire paycheck is. So, how do we get rid of this split up into 4 parts? Well, imagine, if you could please, $25 on this portion. Well, that would mean that the next portion would be 25, and the next portion, and the next portion. So what did we do here? Well, 4 portions gives me 1 whole paycheck. 4 sets of 25 gives me $100. Now, naturally, you could go back and check, a little disappearing ink here. I could substitute in $100 and see if it works. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 25 take away 8 is 17, and that looks to be a true statement. But I want you to understand how to draw it out. Not that I'm going to ask you to on homework, but I feel it coming. I feel it coming on a quiz. So ask yourself, okay, what do we start with? P dollars. What happens first? We split it up. We divide it by 4. Because there were 3 siblings and DeAndre for a total of 4 parts of that paycheck. What happens next? We take that fourth of the money that DeAndre kept, and then we subtract $8 from that. All in all, it's equal to 17. I think that honestly is the toughest part, turning the verbal sentence into a mathematical sentence. Now, I also showed you both in drawing as well as over with numbers and variables over here, how to solve this problem. The first thing we did was we got rid of minus $8 by adding $8, and of course we were fair over here. We showed that by adding 8 to both sides with numbers and symbols. Then what? Each individual portion was 25, which means we would need 4 parts to make the whole paycheck, thus multiplying by 4. And of course, I didn't draw it over here, but imagine if each of those, there were 4 more parts with $25 in. But I did show it over here on the left side. Getting a little sloppy, I know. Some of you are very used to drawing equations, but most of you are not. And again, I will push you probably on the quiz to draw a 1 or a 2-step equation to see if you really have that deeper understanding. More on that coming up, all right? So that's really all I had, ladies and gents. Back to your homework. First couple problems a little weird because they actually try to build that knowledge into you one step at a time. What do you know? What do you want to know? Eventually you get to the point where you actually write the whole equation out, and then you go ahead and you solve that equation. If you notice the directions, and of course you're writing those directions up above, today does not ask you to solve and check. It asks you just to write the equation and to solve it. Let me know if I can help you, ladies and gents. Otherwise, we got a quiz coming up next school day for you, so take your time, check your odd answers in the back of the book, and do well.